Hello again. In this video I'm going to use Inkscape to build an industrial scene based on hills of Stockton-on-Tees. To enable this I'm going to have to remove a model village and then expand the area to fit more industrial scenery in. The two buildings on the right hand side are what I'm modelling. These were Hills, which was a door manufacturer and also specialised in plastic surfaces. The first thing I did was to then draw the building and all of the window frames mounted in the side wall. The window frames top row are identical sizes, bottom row identical sizes, but I've actually used Align and Distribute to get them laid out perfectly. And again, I'll cover that later in the video. On the far side of the building, which won't be seen, these are just the panel and the side wall that will be cut using the machine just to give the stability to the building. The end panel was then built or sketched based on the end of the building, and the end panel, interior dividing walls and roof trusses are all the same overall size, which makes it easier for cutting out on the machine. It adds a lot of strength to the building as well. Using the main frames as a guide, the windows can then be set out in the window frames. The window frames then house those small panes, but all on one piece of sticky label. So this sticky label is fitted in one piece to cover all of those windows. That's repeated on the end of the building, and as you can see here, they are the small panes, and then surrounding that is where it will be cut on the sticky label. So that would go for here, and this one the same, and again all match the size that's there. Once it's cut on the sticky label, that's exactly what it looks like. Now the sizes are very fine on those window frames, and the machine deals with that very easily. This is what it looks like once the Scalescenes surfaces are fitted and starting to put the window frames into place. I think you'll agree they look very fine in there, and once on acetate, easy to colour if you wanted to before or after. The signage that was used was the top here, which said Hills famous for plastic surfaces. I had a little bit of difficulty modelling that, but we did get there. On the lower part of the building, which we don't see, and this shows you how high it was, this is the offices of that building, which was a different sign which said it was famous for flush doors, which it was. I then modelled the roof vents, and I've shown here that once the building is assembled, it's a very stable building. Fitted the roof panels. This is Scalescenes galvanized, rusty galvanized, and these are just the top pieces here that fit. As I say, I did model the building next to it, which is the smaller version, and I'll show that in the pictures that follow. For those who are interested in the window frames, I'll go back to these. These are all set out using Align and Distribute. Now, Align and Distribute is very easy to use, but rather than fit into here, I'm going to do a separate video for that to make it so that you can find it later on. This first picture shows the window frames and also the Scalescenes surface paper. Once it's put together with the end frames, it's starting to look quite stable. This is the internal feature of the building, and at the bottom you can see the smaller warehouse that I'm building, which is basically the same type of construction. The smaller warehouse was just a workshop area. Once the two are put together, they start to look in scale. I've started here to start the downpipes, the gutters, headers on the windows, window sills, and if you look at the top of the building, you can see that I've started to put the vent systems in. This is the extended vent on the main building, which will be replicated on the smaller building as well. Once you start to see the finishes added, it just now needs a lot of weathering to finish it off. It's now time to make space and placement of new buildings. I took up all the old back scenes and then replaced them with Pico photographic back scenes, which is the town scene. I removed the farm base so that I could extend for a few more buildings. The new base was extended and the bridge heads were made with 500-gram card and sprayed grey. I then placed the two buildings that I'd made and made sure that they actually fitted. I then built and added two more warehouses to give the depth to that part of the layout. This is the original village and farm that was removed to make way for the industrial area. This is what the scene looked like once I'd put everything into place and started adding a little bit of the detail, but there's a lot more weathering to do. This shot just shows as the black and white, as I only had black and white photographs to work from, so I just made sure that it did bear some resemblance. In the next part, I'm just showing a small video just to show what the actual layout looks like. Once again, thank you for watching, and I welcome any feedback and also happy to answer any questions. In my next video, I'm going to show how to use Inkscape, align and distribute that was used within this video.